of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Starting out with tonight's meeting would be the consent items, and I ask the board for approval on the minutes from January 27th and February 3rd.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 27th and February 3rd meetings.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Then moving on to the financial reports.
Make a motion to approve the financial reports.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Then moving on to the paying docket for approval.
Make a motion to approve claims.
And do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. And then payroll. Let's see, we have payroll items. Oh, we do we have a motion for approval for the
Motion to
payroll.
approve payroll.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. And then finally, the personnel report.
Make a motion to approve Christina Irvin as our new school counselor effective tomorrow, February 25th.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. We have no leaves or resignations to approve tonight or any adjustments. And also we have no classified items, so we'll continue moving on to public comments on the agenda. Are there any public comments this evening? Okay, we'll continue moving on to the principal's report.
All right, well, February has been a crazy month with weather. So we have had e-learning days, early dismissals, days off, and so it's really disrupted the schedule. So I just like to commend our staff and students for what we have in the building, for the work that they put in the classroom. Even if it's 25 minutes in class, they're using that time as much as possible. Down our elementary week, we are getting ready for the I-3 assessment that will be in 2 weeks. So all second graders and third graders will be taking that test this year. And so a lot of our staff down there, Title I, our literacy coach, second grade, third grade teachers are all working hard on that. Setting some home with the kids to do at nighttime. Before I came tonight, that's what I was doing with my second grader at home, was going over some things to get ready for that assessment. So we're continuing to work on that, and then also getting our kids ready for I-learning in late April. This Thursday and next Monday, we have our pre-K and kindergarten roundup. So we're doing both of them at the same time. In years past, we'd have December 9th, but this year we're doing it at the same time. And so we have a lot of interesting things, exciting things that are going to happen that night. Definitely they're going to go home with a bag of items to take home. So Tri-Township swag and a book that we got for them. So every student will get one of those. The Annual the Tiger Goes to School, that's our book that we picked. So really good book. So those came in today. We're also going to have a signing, so a letter of intent to sign with us. So each of the kids will be using a pencil that's about this big around, that they'll be using for that. So just to make it a real fun night for them. They'll get to go see the classrooms and see what it is to be like to be a Tiger. So we'll have that. And then with Mrs. Irvin starting tomorrow, her and I will be collaborating this week and next week and start working on the new graduation requirements and get ready for scheduling with our high school students. So we'll be doing that right after we get back from spring break. So we'll use this next 3 weeks to make sure that we know all the requirements, have them all in order. The master schedule is about, I'd say 90% done. Just a few things that we have to finish up on that. But wanted to definitely have her look at it too and make sure we have everything. So, February is a shorter month, but it flew by, I would say, very quickly. So excited for the next few weeks of testing what we have coming up.
Thank you. Also moving on, there were no public comment, but Mr. Shealy, we plan on reading your letter that you presented to the board last month, but now with your being here, would you like us to read it on your behalf? Or?
We actually have it in our discussion later on.
Oh, I thought, I'm sorry, I thought it was
Yeah.
Okay.
But heads up that we'll be including you for discussion tonight, in the discussion portion of our agenda.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Then moving on to the superintendent's report.
Okay, well, there's been a lot of strategic planning that's been happening, both with students and families, also continuing with staff. It's been very exciting to meet with our students. There's a group that applied to be part of the Superintendent's Advisory Council. So we've met twice now, and they've been really great with sharing the things that they love about Tri-Township and then areas in which we can improve. They focus a lot on the relationships with staff, the smaller classes, one-on-one attention, talking about the different opportunities we have available, from sports to after-school clubs, that there are so many ways for everyone to get involved and giving back, talking about community service, and just, I think the biggest point that they make is students aren't just another face in the crowd, they're known, supported, encouraged, and thrive. So just looking forward to continuing those conversations. I will be meeting monthly with our students throughout the rest of the school year. With our families, they spoke about how students are personally known. Again, no one goes unnoticed. I just think that really special attention that we provide here at Tri-Township, speaking about the events, our fun fair, back to school night, talking about even our support services that we offer and how great those are for our students, Title I special education, and even, again, emphasizing our small size, how it's a strength, and just talking about, too, just continuing to look for opportunities, looking at preparing students not just for here at Tri-Township, but beyond college and career readiness, and then so many compliments about our staff. I know one parent in particular spoke about how they felt like they won the lottery by the staff and teachers that their children have had throughout the years. So again, wonderful to hear about the positive, but also we'll be identifying areas in which we can continue to grow. Marketing, we, as Mr. McMahon already said, we're having our pre-K and K roundup this week. So we had postcards that were mailed out, so that was great to get our family's attention. We have a community newsletter that will be going out very soon. Again, just wanting to bring awareness to the great things happening here at Tri-Township. We have Steinler that will be installing the sign on the east side of our building. That's in the process of being made right now. And we're going to continue to offer tours to families. We had someone reach out, was it today, Mrs. McCarter? Yes, to have a tour. So we have families who are definitely interested, not just our pre-K and K friends that will be joining us next school year. Project updates, athletic facility, we did invite 3 bids. We received one that came in pretty high, and so we are looking to work with individuals on making sure we're getting the most value we can. And so we will continue working on that project, but we're exploring some other quotes from some local people. Track, the work was obviously stalled due to the weather, but now things are warming up, so you can expect to see the machines to start moving out there. Our lacrosse school building, we're preparing for an auction to take place on April 1st. That list will be coming soon for the board to review and approve. And then I just think the biggest deal, of course, if you saw in the newspaper and everywhere, I would say social media, legislation, just want to celebrate that House Bill 1136 and 1501 will not be making any movement. Those bills cannot be heard at this point. We're past that point. But we're going to continue to monitor the language from those bills, make sure they're not inserted elsewhere. So thank you for your support along the way. That was a very long journey, but we made it through. And then just recognizing that there still are House bills out there that we need to pay close attention to. All school districts are looking at, reduction in property taxes. And so just again, wanting to make sure that we are paying close attention to the bills out there, and making sure that we are advocating for Tri-Township and for all of our public schools throughout the state. That's all for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. But then moving on our agenda, the action items, recommendations been made to move the May 26, 2025 regularly scheduled board meeting to May 19th of 2025 because of the conflict.
Motion to approve that meeting change.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Then the second action item would be the approval for the school counselor mentor program agreement with NIESC.
And that's for our new school counselor, to make sure she receives the support that she needs.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Then continue to move on to discussion items. First would be the first reading of policy 1310.
So this talks about electronic participation by board members. So we've had some situations such as tonight where someone may not be able to be present. And so if reading through this policy, there is a process in which you need to notify either the school board president or myself at needing to participate electronically. Then we would have admin assistant and or treasurer assist in supporting that electronic participation. It also talks about how not more than 50% of our board can participate electronically at the same school board meeting. If a board member is to vote, you have to be on the screen, physically seen, and we do a roll call. So I think, all the pieces of this policy, which were guided by the Indiana School Board Association, would be, I think, advantageous to make sure that every board member is able to participate in all meetings.
Motion to approve that on first reading.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Then continuing to move on to the letter from the South County Community Coalition.
Go ahead and read it.
Please.
All right, this letter is from the South County Community Coalition, addressed to Dr. Bohr and the board members. That says, on behalf of the South County Community Coalition, which is in LaPorte County, we are writing to convey our support of the Community Schoolhouse Organization's initiative to find a reuse for the historic La Crosse High School building. The organization's efforts to find a new purpose for the beloved schoolhouse, particularly by seeking partnerships with healthcare and adult education providers, are admirable. The development of these services strengthens our rural communities and fosters an environment of growth that we know your school district is eager to see happen. Likewise, developing rural healthcare offerings and increasing employment opportunities in our small towns is of great importance to us. We know there will be challenges in the process of furthering community schoolhouse vision, as is often the case with most meaningful of community initiatives. The South County Community Coalition offers its support as you seek our solutions going forward. So often, community development initiatives struggle to find qualified individuals that are interested in doing the hard work of developing and delivering projects. The Shealy family has demonstrated their commitment to improving the South County community through multiple development projects, especially through its ownership of the Hangar Restaurant. We urge you to not let this opportunity fall by the wayside. And it's signed by the South County members. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shealy, and I appreciate, the communication that we've had. I know that we met several months ago. I think that started with our board member who's not here tonight, Melanie Mills.
Right.
And Mrs. McCardle was present as well. And so we appreciated, engaging in that conversation about, you wanting to pursue the building
Right.
and make use of it. And then time had passed and, I had done some digging into some pieces that needed to be looked into a little bit further. And we had a meeting with Aaron Rust, board member in McPort, and we met. And in response to, I know your request, I had shared some information that we had found. We appreciated, again, the dialogue and the ideas that were shared. We do have some restrictions that I just want to be transparent about that I know we shared with you during that meeting. And that would be related to our insurance. That's something that I had looked into with, wanting to either, we talked about renting at that
Yes.
time, and our insurance does not allow for that because our insurance only protects us to operate as a school. So our insurance would drop us at that point if we were to take on someone who would be leasing the building. I had also reached out to our legal bond counsel, which is Ice Miller, and they spoke to us about how we could not sell the property, we could not make any changes to the property in regard to demolition or anything like that because it's encumbered by bonds. So that was another limitation to us. And then just the costs, I know we had just explored what that would look like even if we were to transform, the building, turn it into something else, and the costs are great. So I know those are things that we shared with you, just some of the obstacles that we had shared with you that right now put us at a standstill. But I appreciate you sharing that letter and the support that you've received.
No, thank you, thank you. Is there any chance that when you renegotiate your insurance, could we possibly look at the option of insuring it so you could rent the building to a nonprofit?
Yeah, that's
When
not
insurance-
something that I know at the time when I discussed
Yeah.
this specific request, and I shared with them, remember the information that you gave me, I did pass that along to them, the records that you shared with me, and at that time, that was something that they were not wanting to entertain, but I did share that with them.
Okay. Well, I'm just concerned that you have a bond, it's for the next 20 years, you can't do anything with the building, you can't demolish it, and you can't sell it. So what is gonna happen to the building for the next 20 years that you're gonna be required to maintain? You can't let it go derelict. So I guess you don't have many options. I just thought renting it would be a good option to our project.
And Mr. Shiado wasn't part of the conversations, but I think what you're trying to do is very noble, and I 100% agree with your investment in the community, and it's important that we do everything we can to harness the small community that we're in.
Right.
I think the challenges are, though, one of the main reasons that we decided to move our K through 12 here is because of course, one thing which you see all these bills coming at us as a small school corporation, and then these continuations of House bills that are coming at not only our school, but every school corporation where it's causing more and more public schools to really dial down and have the ability to run their school and make sure the kids are getting the best education. Is that some of the things professed in your original offer, again, that were mentioned, like the cost of doing so, we're taking, with all these restrictions we have, and I believe SCAP is only associated with schools, but I think they only cover school corporations, and I think as a small corporation, we don't have a whole lot of people lining up to cover a building that was built that's over 120, well, around 100 plus years old in the current state. So our challenge is our interest, again, is do everything we can to support the community and make sure that we keep our dying towns alive, but at the same point, being responsible for the taxpayer dollars and make sure the kids are getting an education. And I think that's where we're just handcuffed, trying to figure out how we do that, because I believe your original ask was that we cover costs for a period of 5 years and so forth, and that, I know that you said that was negotiable, but looking at roughly $100,000 a year cost to our corporation for not necessarily getting anything out of it, in addition to these other things coming at us, is something that we don't know as a board how to actually maneuver. We don't see any outcome to get through this and still make sure that we're being responsible for the K through 12 and all the other things that are coming at us as a corporation.
Well, I mean, that's why I suggested rent might be an option. If you have to maintain the building and you're not using it, that's a cost to the taxpayers that's out the door. They're not getting anything out of it. And if we could use the building and make it a community-based building, it would help the school and the community.
No, understood, but we don't have insurance for those, and the risk associated with somebody just even walking up, unfortunately, the many flights of stairs there, we can't find an insurance to cover our current situation. Again, even going back 10 years ago, we had a hard time because of the age of that school finding insurances. So to take on additional liability for something like this, and the school, and the means of insurance for schools, and keeping rates competitive without them going up, that's something, again, part of the reason that we were in a situation that we were in. So this is a different type of insurance commercially versus, again, the kind of insurance that we're currently have for our school corporation and the children.
Maybe things will change down the road.
So you're telling the community of La Crosse that that building is going to sit there and be unused for 20 years into the future?
I think what the board is, and please jump in if you have any additional opinions. I think what the board is saying, we're going to continue investigating opportunities, but what's in front of us at this moment, I don't see that as being a viable option because we aren't in a position to do so. We don't have the means. We have to insure anything that takes place in that building, and to get that additional liability, we don't have the ability to do anything with that. So we're going to continue, as Mr. Shealy said, look at options, but right now with what's in front of us, we don't see any outlet other than right now, we don't see a means to move forward with the proposal that's been presented to us.
I think that, wasn't it, you guys had asked for funding from the school corporation in your original proposal, and it's, our belief that it's illegal. We can't legally give you money out of any of the funds to do that because the funds are earmarked for education and for maintenance of this building. Because you'd asked, about, getting money that we had earmarked for demolition. Well, I mean, even if there was money at that time, we still couldn't give it to, a private entity for those purposes, correct?
That's correct.
However, you could sell the building, the whole parcel, couldn't you?
Not currently, we do not.
Not with the bond tied to it.
Yeah.
That's according to our legal bond counsel, which I did check as, Mr. Shealy, I know we've been in communication and the questions that you've asked me, I worked hard to reach out to the people that I needed to and provide those answers to you. It may not be the answers we want to hear, but we have been, investigating and trying to find solutions, but this is where we're at right now. We're at a standstill right now, not that we won't continue to explore.
Well, like I said, maybe things will change down the road, but in a not too distant future. Like insurance has to be renegotiated probably every year. You have to renegotiate your insurance, and things may become available. So the building does sit empty for 20 years.
No, again, we appreciate with what you're trying to do. Again, I think it's great for the community. Right now, we're handcuffed with all the investigations. Dr. Morris spent an extensive amount of time trying to figure out what outlets that we have. We, as a board, have been looking at as many alternatives as possible, and then in light of the things that we have in front of us, and right now, we just don't have the means. But we want to support you and the community the best we can. We just can't see an outlet out right now.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully it will change in the future.
So, other than that, do we have any board comments?
Motion to adjourn.
And do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for visiting us this evening.
You talked about insurance.